What is going on, everybody? This is your host, Daft Kid, on the EDM Filter Podcast. Of course, guys, as always, make sure you hit that like, follow, subscribe button. Leave us a comment in the comment section below, whether that be on our YouTube channel, whether that be on Mixcloud, whether that be really on any platform, because eventually we will be moving forward and expanding our platforms, if you will. Some of you might have noticed already, which I'm sure there's plenty of people who have been waiting to mention that our website is still unfortunately down right now for some technical reasons. But yes, I am hoping, crossing my fingers here, that we'll have that ready pretty soon, guys. So in the meantime, though, let's get into the episode. Welcome in, everybody. This is another episode on the EDM Filter Podcast. I feel like I need to start emphasizing that it is a podcast now, or at least this segment that you're watching / listening to is a podcast, because I don't want people to get confused. We do plan to have different segments within the EDM Filter Show eventually, hopefully sooner than later, right? But for now, this is really just going to be a talk show for now. And speaking of which, I guess this is our disclaimer section here. I am thinking about putting up a mix, because I know me and Exoh, put out that mix on the first episode, and we would love to continue to pretty much go on that path. We've always gotten a lot of positive feedback about actually streaming our sets. So, by the way, guys, if you haven't seen that yet, definitely check out the very first episode of EDM Filter Show podcast, to emphasize. I hope you guys like it. Please leave comments in the comment section below. And of course, same goes for anyone that is listening to our show on Mixcloud. With that being said, guys, I just wanted to mention one more last thing. I know I keep mentioning we're gonna have a guest. I promise, guys, I'm not playing when I say that we actually do. And actually, on the contrary, we have like 5 different people lined up already. It just, unfortunately, technical issues keeps coming up, so to speak. And well, I guess it is just the name of the game. And we have to just kind of deal with what's going on right now, but it's okay, guys. We do plan to have these people on. They really want to be on. They've already, very happily told us and excitingly told us that they have, everything set up, ready to go, as far as what they plan to play for us, and already a few topics to talk about. So I'm excited, guys. I just ask the rest of you who are tuning into the show to stay patient. We will have them on soon. With that being said, let's move on to our news for today. We do have some, I guess you could say, kind of special news that I think is also kind of interesting, that I think is worth mentioning, if you will. So, one thing I want to kind of get off my chest too is I think I should change up the format here just a little bit. And what I mean by that is, I feel like before, guys, I've kind of emphasized so much, or more so, on the fact that, this podcast is also a video podcast, so you can see these episodes on YouTube as well. But I don't think it's really been working out for me, in the sense of, I think I've been focusing too much on the video aspect, and I'm kind of, forgetting, if you will, that this is technically a podcast. So I'm going to try to now speak upon these topics and speak in these episodes as if we are here on a podcast, because that is technically what we are doing here. Okay. With that being said, today's news. Okay, so first off, guys, has any of you guys heard of Pirate Studios? Pirate Studios has many different recording studios around the world, actually. I have to give these guys, coming from Spiritfire Studios, I gotta give Pirate Studios some love and credit over here, because that is essentially the goal for Spiritfire Studios right now. We do hope to eventually expand internationally one day, whenever that may be, whenever the opportunity arises, hopefully sooner than later, of course, right? But that is the end goal, and to see a different studio do exactly that is good to see. I think it's a little heartwarming. I think it's a little encouraging, if you will. I'm not mad, I've never been the kind of person who's like gets jealous of other people's success, so to speak. And in regards to, I guess, another business, I can't see myself getting jealous, I guess, or angry, if you will, frustrated. I'm sure there's maybe other different kind of emotions and outlets of how people express themselves regarding things like this. Like I said, I think it's some heartwarming stuff to see that a studio has been able to be this successful to the point where they're international. So from my understanding, this podcast is a Bay Area station podcast. So for those who are in the States, those who are in California in the States, we are based out of the Bay Area, Northern California. So from my understanding, I know Pirate Studios has a couple, I think, if not maybe even a few studios in the LA area. So any of you guys in California, any of you guys in the LA area into music, maybe you're looking for a place to record, do some sort of session. And from my understanding, even if you want to rent out a space to jam out in the sense of if you are a DJ who needs to work on some professional equipment, and I get it, guys, it's expensive, and I'm sure for those who are tuned into the industry and the scene, I'm sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. And even with some of the other videos that we went over with the reviews, I think you guys will see that, some of the stuff is pretty expensive, as it kind of should be. And I say that with, kind of a squeak in my voice because, look, I get it. It's top-notch technology. And if we're talking about a company like Pioneer DJ, they're obviously not messing around. They're trying to put the best of the best. Oh. What is... Sorry, apparently I got distracted by some like lint or something just fell down in front of me. Anyways, back to what we're talking about. Look, I get why it's so expensive, so it is what it is, but I totally understand, and I'm so for giving people the opportunity to rent out space. Now I get that this is what pretty much a lot of major studios do, so it's nothing particularly special, if you will. But what I do think is special, and if I'm not getting my information wrong here, I'm seeing that these guys, particularly if you're like an electronic DJ or just really a DJ in general, and you need the space on top of having the equipment, that makes all the difference in the world, because most other places, I guess if you're trying to do like a mic recording or something to do with the mic, or maybe they'll let you use one of their basic guitars or something like that, drum set. That's kind of more towards like how would you say, normal, and I do the fingers for you guys who can see me right now, normal music that pretty much demands musical instruments, if you will, the instruments that society and all of us know very well. And of course we could get very into that, but we're not gonna get too deep into that. The point here being, though, is they provide you this really expensive equipment, which I think is very convenient if you have, I guess, the money or the funds, however you want to look at it, to be able to even rent the space out in the first place. Let me just tell you though, guys, honestly, if I had like all this money, now this is like me talking away from Spiritfire Studios, this is me talking away from Daft Kid. If I was just some other individual on the streets trying to, like maybe not even trying to make it as an artist, or maybe I'm not trying to put myself out there in any shape or form or way. I'm just simply a music lover who knows how to DJ for fun, and I want to jam out. I think it's great that if someone has the resources to be able to rent out this kind of space, they could do it. And if I was an average Joe, so to speak, well, technically I am an average Joe, but if I was a like completely normal, non-musical, bass kind of individual, I think this would be really cool to even at least try out, check out. Now, of course, some of this stuff for all you guys who know out there is, kind of expensive, right? It is what it is. These studios got to pay rent too, so to speak, right? So, but I appreciate it. So anyways, why are we talking about Pirate Studios? Well, speaking about these guys giving people the opportunity to do things, right? Giving them the space and the proper equipment to get what really needs to get done. Pirate Studios just kind of announced recently what they call a new initiative that will offer emerging artists paid gig opportunities at major festivals. Whoa, interesting. So, from my understanding from this, and of course, guys, as I said before, if any of the information I'm saying here is wrong, or particularly if it doesn't make sense, I know sometimes I could talk kind of fast and then I start stumbling on my words a bit, and then it's like I don't even realize sometimes I'm like not even fully pronouncing certain words correctly, so then it really must sound confusing. And I look back at these videos, of course, as I edit them myself and I put them up, or these podcast episodes, I should really say. And I'm not gonna lie, I stumbled upon certain parts, and as for those who actually see the video segments, you will see that I call myself out, or try to correct myself, I should really say, on some of these parts that, okay, I get it, I heard it, and I realized that I try to say, I noticed that my problem is I've tried to say like 3 different words at once, and it literally comes out as like very quick word vomit. And it's like it comes out so quickly that you don't even realize it's word vomit until you like hear it over and over again a few times, and then you realize, okay, so so now I understand, and I can confirm that I don't understand what he's saying. and that's fair. That's fair, because I'm not technically pronouncing some of this stuff as I should. But with that being said, yeah, I mean, how do I say this? So if I'm understanding this correctly, these guys are partnering up with companies that essentially put together these festivals all over the world. But particularly about this news kind of emphasizes, see, there we go again, emphasizes the UK European scene. So before I kind of get more in depth in my opinion, I'm going to kind of just go over some of this information. The studio itself didn't, I'm sure, well, I'll put it like this. I'm sure if you go on their website, there's plenty of information that you could seek out regarding this information I'm going to give you. And actually, technically, they have a page on their site so you could apply if you're actually interested in taking this opportunity that I'm about to describe right now. We can kind of get a little bit more into what their website's saying. But I'm kind of go over right now a separate source, an article I found online regarding this opportunity. So, without further ado, this article talks about and says, Pirate Studios has launched a new initiative which will generate over 70 paid gig opportunities for emerging artists in 2023. I'm going to just quickly say, I think that's great news. We all need to get paid, right? We all need to get paid, and we all need to pay our bills. But most importantly, I think there should always be an incentive to have these kind of artists or musicians or whatever you want to call them the opportunity to want to keep coming back. Right now, I guess you could argue that you shouldn't, maybe you should, maybe 50-50, have to throw a bone to people sometimes, to get their attention. I think those who have the drive, aka maybe this guy right here, for those who maybe have the drive that really want to do this kind of stuff, they're going to put themselves out there, and they're going to find, the resources, if not at least, I don't know, an email to send a message to put your enthusiasm out there and let these guys know, hey, I actually really, really am excited for this, and I want to give it a shot. Now, I guess I might, hit this point a little further on, because I feel like I need to continue reading here a bit to really fully encompass the point that I'm trying to get right now. So moving on, Pirate Residency 2023. That is what this program, if you will, is called, or opportunity. Pirate Residency 2023 Summer on Stage has been launched. The organization says to offer emerging artists paid gig slots and airplay to help combat a downwards trend in the number of new acts coming onto UK festival lineups. Okay, hold on a second. I'm sorry. This is why I say, guys, please correct me if I'm misunderstanding any of this stuff and I start gibbering about stuff I have no idea what I'm saying. Because if I'm understanding this correct, look, let me just reread this part real quick one more time. So Pirate Residency 2023. Summer on Stage has been launched. The organization says to offer emerging artists paid gig slots and airplay to help combat a downward trend in the number of new acts coming onto UK festival lineups. So let me just put it out there real quick, okay? I'm not here to say that Pirate Studios is lying about any of this kind of information, or I'm not trying to say they're trying to like I don't know, put out false information to make themselves look better or have us sympathize for them or in some way. But look, you know, I must not be as connected with the UK scene as I thought, or just maybe the scene in general, because for me to see or read or even hear that they have to, quote, and I quote, combat a downward trend in the number of new acts coming onto UK festival lineups. See, this is why I was just saying, like, you know, a minute ago, like, you know, if you're hungry for this, if this is something that you really want to do, and you're really trying to put yourself out there, there's no need for, you know, them to essentially create this program to help those who aren't as hungry. Now, that to me doesn't necessarily make sense, because I know it doesn't matter whether I'm in the US, Europe, wherever, anywhere in the world. Listen, this scene right now, guys, and especially for those who know, who are into this, and that's probably why you're even listening to this or watching this in the first place, understand, like, this is a huge scene with a lot of money involved, a lot of businesses, organizations. My mind right now simply cannot fathom and compute and process that there's a downwards trend. So if I'm understanding this correctly, what they're saying is there's not enough people out in the UK area that are putting themselves out there. There's not enough guys out there in the UK who's trying to be at a festival level stage and market themselves as one of the best. I don't know. Again, I'm not saying this is necessarily false information coming from Pirate Studios, but I just can't believe that. I can't believe that. There's so many people in just the US alone. And listen, people will argue that with where we are at right now in the industry and the scene, that you know, there's no longer like a particular area in the world where like EDM is like on top, or like it's most more popular, you know, more spoken about, if you will. I think now, particularly in 2023, it's big everywhere. It's just really big everywhere. Sure, I could argue definitely if we're talking like the 80s, 90s, maybe even early 2000s, I would say definitely certain areas in Europe would be the place where, hey, you want like the best techno, you want the best house, you want the best whatever, electro house, you name it. I'm just naming kind of, you know, some random genres here for a second for conversation's sake, but you could put, you know, fill those in with any other genre. But I think I could say, you know, pretty confidently that we're talking about back in around that different timelines that I mentioned, that I could be able to say, yeah, pinpoint in a sense, yeah, you need to go to this country, you need to go to this city, you need to go to this area in this region of the world, because that's where it's all about. But I can't say that anymore, because I think genuinely it's really big everywhere. And especially I would say in the US, where, I mean, we got, you know, we're supposed to be the leaders in entertainment in many different aspects. And, you know, I still think that's true to a certain extent, particularly when it comes to music, when it comes to like the club scene, if you will, and music festivals. You know, all these businesses and organizations want to come out here and set up some kind of event out here. And that's not to take away anything that any other region in the world, you know, and I'm going to keep using like the UK, for example, because UK is kind of like the birthplace of a lot of electronic music. If not, it is the birthplace. I mean, I would argue that it is the birthplace, but, you know, others would argue that it's, you know, it kind of started a trend and then it kind of moved, separated out. Anyways, everyone's entitled to their opinion, and I'm just simply giving mine right now. But yeah, I mean, to combat a downward trend. Okay. Well, I have to say, guys, there's more to talk about here, but, you know, just to emphasize on this part for a second. Well, it seems to me, guys, genuinely, for one, it's pouring outside, actually. I don't know if you guys could hear that. Holy crap. I started like the rain just started pounding on my window here like it was about to break. But anyways, I don't know about you guys, but this tells me I have to move to the UK because they're desperate for guys out there. Am I understanding this correctly, guys? They're pretty much saying, hey, we're desperate for new blood to come onto the scene. And, you know, I feel like this area, the UK, created this scene. You know, like they created this style of music, if you will. And to hear that where the origins of all this came into play, they like, there's I'm sorry if I have to use the word here, downward trend. So there's not enough. Is it what? That's all I could really say right now. Interesting. I will just finish this point by saying this is very interesting news because I would never thought in at least another, I don't know, 15-20 years that I would hear that there's some sort of downward trend. Like they can't find enough people. There isn't enough people wanting to be artists or take on this challenge to join this scene. To me is kind of some mind-blowing news, honestly. There goes right as I said mind-blowing, the rain was just about to like send a rocket through my window. Okay, so moving on here to get a little bit more backstory on this, okay, guys, because, you know, again, I don't want to be spreading false information here, but again, I am just giving my opinion about any of this. So, you know, any of you guys are free and welcome to disagree with what I have to say. And actually, in the contrary, we like to hear your disagreement in the comment section below. Just, of course, keep it appropriate, keep it clean, guys, because we're not trying to fight here either, okay? We want to have cordial conversations. But moving on here, the company has partnered with 28 festivals and venues based in the UK, US, and Germany to generate the opportunities, with festivals such as Boomtown, Cross the Tracks, and Mint Festival among those involved. See, now this is where like a little tear starts coming down, guys, because then I hear they talk about Boomtown, they talk about Cross the Tracks and Mint Festival. You know, these are like some legit top of the line festivals, okay? You know, okay, maybe they're not A plus super tier, if you will. You know, like I consider EDC Las Vegas, particularly the Las Vegas EDC, out of all the EDCs that exist. Excuse me, guys. I really consider the EDC Las Vegas EDC to be like the number one top A plus, A grade, you know, the best of the best play at that specific festival. And not to say the best don't play at the other ones, but I just feel, and if I'm not, you know, mistaken here, guys, it seems like the EDC or the Las Vegas EDC is emphasized as to be the biggest and most promoted and spoken about festival of all the EDCs. We're talking about Boomtown, Cross the Tracks, Mint Festival. They're literally like just right below that, you know. So if I'm gonna give like a grade system here, and we're gonna use pluses and minuses of whatnot, EDC Las Vegas is an A plus, right? You know, let's say Cross the Tracks, Mint Festival, those guys are at just solid A's. They're not A minuses, they're just solid A's. And give or take, you know, Boomtown, I like Boomtown. I think it's a solid A as well. You know, some people just might argue because of the style of music that's played, it might be like an A minus. But listen, I think all three of these that are mentioned are solid A's. Solid. Oh my gosh. Like, but wait a second. So they're trying to generate opportunities for guys that play at these festivals. Now, again, it's crazy to hear this news. It's crazy to put in consideration, if you will, because, man, there's so many guys out here in just the US alone that are trying to make it to this stage. Hundreds, thousands, if not millions. Excuse me, guys. A lot of people. A lot. Hundreds, if not thousands, maybe even millions of guys would pretty much do anything to get to the level where they could get accepted into these kind of festivals. Oh boy. So as someone who's from the other side of the world, so to speak, from where this opportunity is being generated, can I say it's a little saddening? No, not like literally, but like figuratively speaking, can I say it's a little saddening to see or hear that they like, so again, there's not enough people in the UK area that are putting themselves out there to score these opportunities. Meanwhile, I keep hearing a lot of guys over here, and I'm sure there's plenty of guys out there in the UK area too, which is why it's even more surprising news, because I know there's got to be plenty of guys out there that are really trying to, be at this stage. But Pirate Studios is saying otherwise, that they can't find enough talent. And I don't think that's necessarily a knock on Pirate Studios. I don't think it's anything to do with the recruiters. I'm sure they're doing just fine trying to find people. But yet, the overall scene out there is beginning to dry out. And I would never thought the scene would dry out. I mean, I don't know. This is just my opinion again, guys. But is this crazy? What do you guys think about this? I mean, Boomtown, across the tracks. So moving on. The collaboration with Boomtown, in particular, will involve a stage curated entirely by Pirate, which will account for 25 of the paid gigs. Wow. So, Pirate Studios ain't playing around working with these festivals, first of all, and really trying to put talent out there. I mean, again, my initial reaction is just say wow and wow over and over again, because this is amazing. This is like, I mean, I don't know. I don't necessarily want to use like a sports reference or anything here, but I mean, let's. I'm gonna use soccer, I guess, here just really quick as an example. But I mean, it's like saying, hey, listen, you played soccer in growing up, middle school, high school level, and at that point you have to now compete, for like the college level, so to speak, and then from college into the semi-pro level, and then from semi-pro to full-on professional. This is like, to me, saying practically like, hey, listen, there's not enough kids joining college, and there's not enough kids trying to be semi-pros. So any of you guys coming straight out of college, we're just gonna give you a seat into the pros, pretty much. Just apply, send us a quick video of like your name and where you're from, and you got a slot. Wait, I'm sorry. Can you say that one more time? I don't know if my brain can compute this. But look, nonetheless, guys, this isn't to bash any of the people out there in the UK, or it's not to bash UK at all in any way, shape, or form. But again, this is just really, really surprising news to hear that. Like, to me, this kind of comes off semi-ly, if you will, or partially, or just a little bit desperate that there's not enough people reaching out. And again, people not reaching out is something else. And by the way, for those of you guys watching the video segment, you might have noticed it got a little dark. We got some crazy weather going on out here right now, so the lighting might change in and out. But I apologize if it's starting to get a little dark, but hopefully the lighting I have here currently is gonna be good enough. But anyways, moving on here, guys. So, as I had just said, Pirate will account for 25 of the paid gigs. So, listen, let me give Pirate Studios kind of a high five here for a second, because they're really trying to put out themselves and doing the initiative to create this opportunity. And again, this is really just a great opportunity. It's really just a win-win for everybody. I mean, if they do get to bring in talent this way, as I would think they for sure are going to have to bring in talent this way, or they will for sure get talent in general. I mean, I just can't see people, particularly who living out there, letting go of this opportunity. I just can't. It would truly be mind-boggling to hear down the line or the road that they had to put out an update saying, yeah, so that program, that Pirate Residency, we still couldn't find enough people. What? Yeah, hopefully that's not the case. But yeah, hey, their account for 25 of the paid gigs, man, that's awesome. That's solid. I give them props for that. They really out here trying to do something for the community, if you will, because this is helping the community, and I think this is really going to give that positive vibe, that positive encouragement that, hey, if any of you guys out here are willing to put in just a little bit of that extra effort to make it to the top, we're giving you the golden ticket right here. And I would think nobody, and I mean nobody who's really involved in this scene is going to turn this down. I mean, honestly. Okay, so moving on here. In addition, radio stations based in the UK and the US, namely Represent, Voices, Transatlantic Lines, KPFK, SNS Radio, and Croydon FM, and forgive me guys if I mispronounce any of these guys' stations' names, please correct me in the comment section below. But these stations I just mentioned will offer airtime. Oh boy, it just gets sweeter, guys. Will offer airtime to artists as part of the Pirate Residency scheme by taking guest mixes and track submissions. Oh, that is my reaction to hearing that. Just like, oh my goodness. I mean, it's almost like I woke up this morning and just laying next to me in my bed was the biggest and greatest IG model, and she's just like, oh, what's up, Daft Kid, I'm yours now, by the way. What? Huh? And by the same time, oh baby, right? This is what this is like. So hold on a second, so let's take a step back, right? So we got the opportunity, we got the golden ticket in hand. They're throwing this golden ticket around like it's Willy Wonka, okay? Like we're Willy Wonka here in the chocolate factory, and we're trying to score an opportunity with Willy Wonka. Okay, they're literally just throwing these tickets out, all right? And just to make it sweeter, they're even gonna give them some airtime. I mean, wow! Again, what a great opportunity! And I can't just stop thinking that these guys are telling us here that there's not enough talent out there that's actually doing their due diligence of reaching out and making a name or brand for themselves. To the point where they have to make this deal so sweet. They're really saying here, guys, like, listen, we're gonna give you the full-blown artist signing package. I mean, let me find out that, like, they pretty much pay for all the travel expenses to make it even that much sweeter. So, although this is kind of an opportunity, if you will, coming out of UK and I mentioned that they're partnered with the US and like Germany. Think about all the guys here in the US, right? Think about all the guys out here being able to put their content on the radio. I mean, and of course out there, I'm like figuratively drooling over here, guys. Okay, I'm drooling because this is like an opportunity I have always wanted since I was a kid, since I first started this stuff. It is what it is now. I have Spirit Fire Studios now, and I'm not, I'm not angry at the progress we've made or anything like that. There's been many different reasons as to why maybe we haven't progressed as quickly and as efficiently as I would like. But a lot of that does have to come down to me, and that's a different story for a different time. But man, if I would have heard of this opportunity, if I would have been able to give this opportunity a shot before creating Spirit Fire Studios and before trying to work with artists and people around the world, I mean, dang, wow, I literally would have been drooling. I mean, I would have been like, as soon as I saw this news, and this would just came out, let's say like even just 5 years ago, you best believe I've been like one of the very first people. I would have been, if not the first, at least one of the first. I really want to say like the first 5 guys, okay, to just put out everything I need to, submit my application, and really just put myself out there and let these guys know that, hey, I'm not gonna let you guys, okay, I'll even put it like this, I'm not even gonna let you guys get or be put in this kind of situation again, okay, where you're literally having to give golden tickets out to people to promote and incentivize, people who claim to be artists and DJs trying to make it into the scene to do something for themselves to make it into the scene. I definitely would have taken a chance in this opportunity. Now, with that being said, I think actually technically I can with this right now. I'm just saying though, I am a little older now than what I used to be, and particularly when I first started. So this, if I would have been able to tackle on something like this when I first started, so we're talking back when I was, 17. Technically, I started when I was like 14. But I don't think I was able to mix anything down or create a mix, if you will, until I was maybe like, I don't know, 16, 17 or something like that. Yeah, around there. But, oh man, just talk about the level of encouragement this is going to bring to everybody. Right now, they're accepting the applications. You go on their website. They've noted here actually that 70% of applicants have been male, and they want to encourage more women and non-binary, just to pronounce that correctly, people to apply. Excuse me. I think that's great. I think that's awesome. I actually really like that they, kind of subtly added that fact in there, that statistic, because, I think I mentioned before, actually, if it wasn't the second or third episode of the podcast recently, let's just say, I mentioned, hey guys, this actually would be nice to see more women in this industry. It would be nice to see people, of all different genders, whatever they identify themselves as, to do something like this. Because I kind of feel too like that's been well, I don't know if it's necessarily been too much of an issue. It could be a problem, and if it's being brought up, it is worth noting and speaking about. But I guess you could say, for conversation's sake, that has been, I guess I would say, in my opinion, the issue or problem, if you will, for some time, that people haven't been able to, people that of the woman, female gender, and non-binary people, to really get a shot and to make it into the scene. Because for some reason everybody just thinks that like only guys can be DJs, or like when you think of an image of a guy or of a DJ, it has to be a guy. For some reason it has to be a guy, and it's like it's not official if it's not a guy, and it doesn't seem right if it's not a guy, and so on and so forth. I don't think that's true. And like I said it before, guys, and I'll say it again now, we definitely need more women in this scene. I think it's great. There's already a good amount of people, or good amount of women. Good amount, I guess, could be subjective, because maybe I can only think of a handful right now, as we're beginning to thunderstorm outside over here real quick. I can maybe only think of like a handful maybe of women in the scene. I'm gonna just name the biggest one in my opinion right now. It's probably Mala. Mala is probably the biggest female DJ right now that I could think of. And of course, guys, don't get me wrong, I know there's plenty of other great ones. I'm sure I can make a top 10 list for you guys, and I'm not too sure if any of you guys would really disagree. I do want to give the women their credit they deserve. But yeah, right now, Mala probably has to be at least top 5 without a doubt. But yeah, I think we need to see more of that. Maybe a different genre, nothing against Mala or what she makes, but it'd be nice to see not only more women and more non-binary people trying to do this, but it would also be nice to see them do it in different genres as well, and kind of just really display the level of creativity that women could produce as well as for men. So anyways, guys, with that being said, I kind of want to check out their website real quick. And it's cool, because their page here is showing the different festivals that you'd be a part of if you join the program, and the different opportunities, radio stations, and even from what looks like the possible connections that you'll be making as well. I would definitely encourage you guys to check this out, pirate.com, and look on there what looks to be their, actually I might have to go back here a second here on their page, but it looks like it's called the Pirate Residency. There should be on their front page, there's going to be a section that's already talking about it. You might have to scroll down a bit, go into their news section, if you will, update section, and you're going to see it there. And once you get onto the page, you're going to be able to apply and everything. I definitely encourage all you guys listening to this to apply to this, man, and ladies, and non-binary, because this is one heck of an opportunity, dude. This is just like, man, again, like, this is the major leagues here, we're talking, and they're just like, hey, who are you again? Coming straight out of high school, no experience, no this and that, no problem. Here's a seat, here's your ticket to UK. We'll see you at at Mint Festival. It's like, what? Oh my gosh, that's awesome. That sounds amazing. So definitely check it out, guys. And this pretty much covers our episode for the day. Again, I kind of want to just go over this. Well, the idea was to go over it quickly, so I apologize, guys, if we kind of went a little overboard here or time here. But I did want to shed some light on this because this is a great opportunity. But I also wanted to give my opinion that, again, I don't think their Pirate Studios here is giving away false information per se. and nor do I think they're trying to make the situation sound worse than what it really is, so that they maybe get more attention on the situation. Hey, I'm not a marketing expert, clearly, apparently, because Spirit Fire Studios isn't on top of the world yet. But there's one thing I do know is that this could possibly actually be a great marketing strategy. Might not be the kind of attention that I would expect or maybe want for what I want to do, or particularly for my business, but if this is going to be a way that's going to encourage people, or at least get people's attention to at least apply, with no guarantee, I would assume too, guys, that just like any other, whether it be for you to, you're signing up for a festival, you're signing up to be part of some sort of recording studio, or the most popular, you're signing up for a track submission for a contest. These guys are they're putting themselves out there in a way that could possibly be the best way to do it. And I did want to shed some light on this topic because, well, I kind of want to hear more from you guys. Is that kind of more of a saddening thing to hear, that this industry, this scene that so many of us are so invested in, is seeing now a downfall, is now seeing a downwards trend, as they used here, in getting these lineups put together? And again, we're not talking about like your normal everyday club gig or anything like that. We're talking about big, legit festivals that only the pros are at, only the big boys are at, and big girls. They can't apparently find enough talent to fill in those shoes, which I think was very interesting to bring up. But more so, I want to get your guys' opinion. Like, how does that make you feel to think that, hey, there's not that many people out there who want to DJ anymore, I guess? Again, I'm just giving my opinion here, guys. And if I'm misunderstanding any of this information, I would really appreciate if you guys could correct me here. But if I am understanding this correctly, my window's about to break because of the weather. If I'm understanding this correctly, this is exciting, but also kind of jaw-dropping and kind of awe-like news. Because again, honestly, guys, I would have never thought that, well, particularly in this time of, I mean, sure, there's a lot of things going on in the world that might, affect music in general, sure. But for this scene, and for what, DJs are trying to do, what electronic music artists are trying to achieve in our current age, to hear this is great, encouraging, as I mentioned, but at the same time, it's kind of mind-boggling to hear that I was gonna say Spirit Fire Studios, that Pirate Studios has to go down this method, go down this track to find the talent they need. But all in all, guys, again, I'm not bringing down Pirate Studios in any way, shape, or form. On the contrary, I appreciate them and I give them a high five and all support in the world for doing this, because they are creating opportunity, and it's opportunity that's going to help everyone involved. Everyone's going to win. Pirate Studios is going to win, the festivals are going to win, the artists themselves are going to win, and everybody else partnering with them, including like the radio stations, are going to win. And that's really what it's all about. It's being able to create opportunity for yourself, but then whatever you do for yourself, being able to share that love with everyone as well. Anyways, guys, this has been the EDM Filter Show podcast. I have been your host, Daft Kid. Hopefully we can have Exoh back on soon. But again, guys, definitely check out this opportunity, Pirate Studios, and their new initiative to offer emerging artists paid gig opportunities at major festivals. And as I'm saying this, a tornado is literally coming into my house right now from what it sounds like. So this is where I wrap things up and I say, don't forget to follow us, guys, on all social media outlets. EDM Filter Radio Show and EDM Filter Show and EDM Filter Show Podcast. I'm sorry, guys, if that's a little confusing. We kind of do have, in a sense, like 3 different aliases. But it's all the same thing. It's all the same show. It's all the same gig. Look us up on all that and all those different aliases on all the social media outlets, and you will find us. If you guys have any inquiries, please email us at edmfiltershow@gmail.com. whether that be, maybe you're an artist that wants to be on our show. We'd love to have you on. We'd love to talk to you and, hear firsthand your experiences in the industry. Or maybe you're a studio, maybe you're a label, maybe you're a talent manager and you just happen to, stumble upon us and you like the content you hear. Please send us a message at our email, an inquiry, and we'd love to hear what you have to say. And we'd love to partner up. We'd love to get as much support as we can. And even myself as Daft Kid, I just love to hear and expand, my current knowledge and everything that I know and learn more. I learn something new every single day, guys. As I'm learning something new right now with this opportunity from Pirate Studios, I want to keep learning. I want to keep expanding, and I want to keep building my amazing circle and this beautiful family we call the EDM Filter Show, EDM Filter Radio Show, and the EDM Filter Podcast. All right, guys, this has been Daft Kid. Until the next episode, hopefully we have Exoh on the next one. If not, hopefully our special guest. And if not, you will be seeing my beautiful face and hearing my beautiful voice yet again with hopefully some interesting news that hopefully you guys like. Anyways, guys, this is Daft Kid on the EDM Filter Show, or should I say on the EDM Filter Podcast. Until next time, see you then.